Imagine this. You leave your town for the weekend and you travel somewhere new. And on the menu, you see there's a few options. There's chocolate ice cream, there's strawberry ice cream for a little bit more, there's coffee ice cream, there's a bunch of different flavors of ice cream. The entire menu from the appetizers to the dinner to the dessert is all ice cream. Now, that's insane, clearly. You and I realize that because we have the knowledge to let us know that most people don't eat ice cream for every meal of that dinner. Now, what's happening here is a limiting of options means that you are having a limiting of the power that you as a consumer have to buy, to choose. But if you only grew up in this town, what the hell? If you grew up in this town and that's all you know, if you only know that restaurants have ice cream and that you eat ice cream every single meal of the day, your knowledge is a lot smaller and therefore your power is a lot smaller. Okay, so the first thing we need to understand is the link between our power and knowledge, because they're not two separate things, but rather power and knowledge are two sides of the same coin. The range of knowledge that you have is in somewhat proportion to the power and options that you create in your life. And we're having this conversation. This is important because if you are like me and you want to raise your level of consciousness, if you want to be a more critical thinker, think for yourself and make better choices in your life and be more successful, it's really important to understand how we can start to see the other side of the coin and to open up our view, our landscape. This past weekend, I went to New Jersey, and for me, that's traveling. I left New York City, went to New Jersey, and I was in a supermarket where I was, in some ways, confronted with this ice cream analogy. For me, the case of knowledge here is a lack of vocabulary that was available and a lack of options that were available in the supermarket. For example, the word organic was missing. I wanted to buy apples. There weren't distinctions being made between whether they were organic or conventional, and therefore limiting the choices, therefore forces me, and that's the power element, it forces you. It says no to you because it's restricting the knowledge and forces me to make a buying choice. In some cases, it could be ice cream. In some cases, it could be organic. And this is how I feel as a vegetarian when I go to an airport, for example. And the limiting on the options is that there are only meat options. And now, whether we agree or disagree that we need to be vegetarian or not, that's not important. But it's something that I can point to that's very clear that is a way for me to question whether the limiting of options is really a limiting of knowledge and dialogue that we can be having about this topic. Because it is a thing that I have to almost apologize for bringing up, but we all have these conversations that we want to have that we are restricted from having. A big win for dialogue lately has been the gluten movement, people with celiacs or going gluten-free. I have never seen a movement turn over as quick in like the past 4 years that since the science and research about that just spread through and menus have adapted and things have changed and blossomed and we're able to have that conversation in a way that people don't have to feel shameful or confused or limited because we are able to have that dialogue, because it's on the menu. Of course, this menu is a literal menu, but it's also a metaphor for the dictionary, the words that we have in our consciousness. And to not participate in that lexicon of words is really to live on the outskirts of society. And that is sometimes how it feels to be eating organic or to be eating vegetarian, to be a snob, to be this person who is, you are not doing like the rest of us are doing. And really that's not at all my intention. I think my intention is to do good in the world and to support things that I believe are helping the overall planet and the people around me and my body, because some of these are more healthy choices. In the book 1984, there's this fictional language of newspeak. And newspeak is, let's just imagine a dictionary controlled by the government where words are removed. What kind of words are removed? Well, in this fictional world, negative words are removed. So you can't express negative feelings. What if we lived in a world where you can't say you have a bad day? what? If we don't have the words to even communicate those feelings, then that dialogue never happens. That empathy, that connection, and that discourse never expands behind, I'm having a good day. My day was ungood, like this. Also, words in this language, synonyms are removed so that we are reduced to the most limiting, just one way to say something. There's no shades of gray. There are no exceptions. There are no kind of clarifications or specificities in this language. We are limiting the knowledge. We are limiting the power. We are controlling the people. And again, here in this story is the link between the people in this novel who are, their words are controlled, their thoughts are controlled. And that is, again, the link between knowledge and power that I think is so palpable. And I would definitely recommend that book or the movie, 1984, if you haven't checked it out. So I would encourage you, the next time you're looking at a menu, just to notice the options that are laid out there before you. And are these options really giving you more power or taking away the power? Is there vocabulary being used that is really advancing the consciousness of the dialogue we can be having about the options we have? Or is it limiting? Is it just, hamburger or hot dog, right? Is it just all ice cream? Or is there something there that is encouraging us to think for ourselves and make smarter buying decisions? And of course, this isn't just about menus and food, but it's really about most of the consumer choices that we have out there. And just to start to notice this. How do you really go beyond that if you only have, we only all have a limited vocabulary? How do we expand? Well, I would say reading books, traveling, talking to people. This will help you have more power and be more in control and really just more successful and happy, I think, by having some agency over making better choices, by being part of the change. Gets me excited. All right, I'll leave it at that. Hopefully I gave you something to think about as far as how knowledge and power are linked and how it's really just in our lives of all the choices that we're making every single day. If you have any thoughts or questions for me, you can write me down in the comments below. I'll be curious what you're thinking. And if you enjoyed this, I'm gonna make more videos like this and put one out a week. You can just subscribe by clicking right here. All right, enjoy.